The failure of a super committee to reach a compromise on the budget has left more than $1 trillion in automatic spending cuts looming on the horizon. Now, the whole ordeal has many Americans outraged and lawmakers pondering their next move. Joining me now to talk about what comes next, senior writer for Bloomberg Businessweek and a frequent guest on The Early Show, CNN, CNBC. Any other networks you want to add to this list? A fair amount of them.
Nothing but love for CBS 6, though.
But especially CBS 6, now he can join our list, an impressive list. Roben Farzad. And Roben, let me ask you this. I mean, the benchmark wasn't really that high. It was fairly modest for what lawmakers said, $1.2 trillion, and they failed. So what are the implications now?
Well, paradoxically, you would think we would get punished by global investors the way Italy and Greece and some of these other economies are seeing their bond yields shoot up. But if anything, since this happened and since our credit rating was downgraded by S&P, we're paying ever less on Treasury yields, which you would think it would work the other way around. Yeah. So I wouldn't exactly think that Treasury investors and the international capital markets are thinking about what this super committee is going to do. Yes, it's caused some consternation in the stock market, but I think more people are now worried about joblessness and unemployment in this country.
So the message is then just continue to rack up debt and don't deal with it, and there shouldn't be any consequences. But in all seriousness, what is the tipping point where investors decide that American credit value is deteriorating and they're not going to want to invest anymore?
Well, the paradox right here also is the fact that when investors bolt other countries, they tend to come into our Treasury securities, the safe haven. It's still the safest money printed, even if we're printing a ton of it. So we don't live in a vacuum. Yes, our situation is bad, but right now the community perceives that it's less bad than what Europe is going through. You have whole countries that are teetering. You have the entire currency union that might fall apart. So in the meantime, people will just park it in U.S. Treasuries, and that seems to be eclipsing all of the business about the super committee and whether or not we cut $1.2 trillion. It's being eclipsed.
And Mr. Farzad, you mentioned unemployment. What are the measures that we could take to really make some gains there? We know we've seen some reluctance in the Congress when it comes to additional stimulus or when it comes to extending payroll tax cuts or unemployment benefits. What can be done now to fix that?
The desperation right now with unemployment kind of chronically above 9%, you're having people going out there saying that this Washington really has to feel it's FDR all over again. You have to go out and go even deeper into the hawk to maybe build bridges, build dams. You have to be thinking New Deal because we're not even creating a fifth of the jobs that we need to dig ourselves out of this hole and cut the unemployment rate in half. But obviously you know that Washington is in no mood to do the White House any favors, Congress, White House, Congress, vice versa. So gridlock persists going into 2012.
Right, the groundworks for a New Deal. I don't know if they're necessarily in place right now, but I guess we'll have to see. Thank you so much for joining us here. Roben Farzad from Bloomberg, and I will send it over now to my co-anchor Stephanie for more.